Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Oh, it's great that we are able to spend this time with each other. Recently a community member asked me about energy and how energy flows within our body system. Because sometimes we just say that, well, I've got this energy, and this energy is moving, or I'm feeling some energy, or I'm connected to some energy. Well, what is that energy that we talk about within us? So we know that we're a body system. And in actuality, we as human beings, our frequencies, we have a perpetual frequency modulation within us that's perpetual, that's ongoing, and it's multiple. So we never have just one energy happening within us. Sometimes they say, well, I'm feeling my energy. But there's never just one energy working at any one given time within us. We're a multiple frequency of energy. So there's multiple energies that are moving through us at any given time. So we have all the energy centers. We know we call them the chakras. We know we have those first 5 that are based on the spine, right? Starting from the first, from the lower, moving all the way up through the lower triangle area, the navel point, the heart, the throat, those 5 points that are always working in some unison with each other, either in balance or off balance. Then we have this entire electromagnetic field of ours, and our auric body, and our pranic body, and our radiant body, and subtle body, all those bodies that we have that are always interacting with the elements of the universe. So you've heard me talk before many times about how we have those 5 elements. We call Panch Tat, the 5 tattvas. Tattvas mean the elements. So we talk about the earth, the air, the water, the fire, and the ether. Those 5 basic elements that exist within us. Right? So at any given time, those 5 elements and the energy of those 5 elements that work within us that are connecting into the body stream itself of energy that's coming through all the energy centers, the chakras, and through all those multiple nadis, all we call the nerve regions and the nerve centers of the body that are in continual interplay within us and on the outside of us and connected to the entire universe. So sometimes we say that, well, I'm feeling mixed energies, or I'm going all over the place. There was a full moon yesterday, the other day, then I'm going through all these energies, right? So we're always being affected by everything that moves around us. And it affects us in different ways, in different energies. So depending upon how our body system is at that moment, whatever cycle that we're on, right, that we're going through in those cycles, that are affected by the moon and the sun and the relationship of all the planets of the universe, which also contain those same 5 elements. So there's always an interplay of energies that are happening at multiple times in the multiple frequency within each of us that is perpetual. That means that is ongoing. So then the question becomes, well, if that's happening, sounds like a big storm. How do I then manage those energy systems? Well, that's why we're here this evening, right? That's why we want to do yoga. We want to meditate. We want to be able to still ourselves. We want to be able to bring our nervous system into a balance. So the nervous system and the central nervous system, the CNS, can deal with that flow that comes to us constantly. And if our nervous system is weak, our glandular system is weak, all those parts of us are not strong, we're not feeling a balance or a centeredness within ourselves, then naturally what's going to be the outcome? Well, you know yourself, what is that outcome? That outcome is I don't feel connected. I don't feel I'm balanced. I'm reacting, I'm acting, my brain can't stop, I can't sleep, all those symptoms that we have that are all affected by all those things that flow around us, merging with another person's aura. In that auric field, at home, in relationship, at work, someplace we are, we see someone, we merge, even we don't know that person, we see that person, we sense something, right? It all affects how that energy is. Because the energy system is the same trinity of body, mind, and spirit. There's a physical energy that we feel, there's a mental energy that we feel, And there's a feeling that we have in our universal energy called spiritual. So at any given time, those three are all being affected, or one may be being affected more. So my understanding, how I learned, was that in order to be able to synthesize and bring all those energies in and not to be put off balance by them, was to find where is that center of that energy within myself. And how do I stay into that center of energy within myself, experiencing all those things that are moving through me at any given time. 24/7 it's happening. Right? Even when you're resting, you're at sleep, at ease, still those energies are always moving through us. So to deal with that, to be able to allow those energies to flow through us, because we can't stop them, is to find what is that balance within you. So first, key to that balance, key is our breathing. That as soon as those energies are moving through, breathe deep. Breathe from the navel point, all that system of energy at the solar plexus, all those nadis, all those nerve centers that are being affected, that are the pulse of that within us. Right? To be able to then breathe more deeply, relax our shoulders, start a mantra vibrating around us, whatever that mantra is for you, Satnam, Vaheguru, whatever mantra you like to use. So it's continuously playing as you're going through all of that, as you're breathing into it, as you're calming yourself within that, because through all these flows of energy, right, we say physical, mental, within all this flow of energy that's happening through us, there's knowledge. The knowledge is gained by watching all those energy systems within, and then going into the intuitive conscious mind to understand what is that flow. What is that flow of energy intuitively within me where I feel it? And how to open myself to all those flows of energy, because the universal flow of energy, Laya Yoga, is moving in a rhythm, right, universally. And as we attach into that rhythm, that laya, that rhythm of that cycle within, and we focus through that third eye point, we see where that flow is moving through us. Within that is universal knowledge, which exists for each of us to tap into. We've brought into this life, remember last week I talked about the samskaras, all those things that we bring into this, that the soul itself generates through its many, 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 many cycles of experiences over, could be thousands of years, beyond thousands of years, that is all brought into you right at this moment. It's very vast, but that's what gives you your uniqueness, and the projection of your uniqueness, and bringing forward that which is deep in your heart. That which is your passion to explore, to become. And it's very vast within us. It's very vast within us. And all those energies, there's energies, we look at the trees and we hug the trees and we feel that energy. And a butterfly comes through that, and then we hear the sound of the birds, and then something, and then people walk through and we sense where that energy is flowing. And we look at all those different parts, and we look out on the oceans, we look out on the lakes, we see that flow, that tide that's coming, the waves that are flowing. All of that is moving through us. All of that is the wave of our life as we flow through this life. It's all part of what makes you, you, and what makes the uniqueness of you become that which is you. To understand it, it's continuous, because the frequency is continual. So one day you say, my energy is great and I'm feeling very productive and wow, I can conquer everything. And next day you wake up and say, I don't have any energy. I don't want to get up out of my bed. I don't want to do any sadhana. I don't want to do any simran. I don't want to do anything, do any meditation. And that energy is in that flow, right? And we have those ups and we have those downs. We have those cycles. So to understand that flow of energy within yourself and the power of that within yourself is to find the balance point where you flow through. Yes, you're going to come to those different cycles. Sometimes you'll be at that high point on that cycle, and sometimes just as that moon waxes and wanes every 15 days. And the waxing and the waning of the moon in that cycle affects our cycles, and it affects especially the cycle of a woman. That lunar frequency, lunar cycle. So there's many influences that are with us every millisecond of time and space. To sitting here right now listening to this, where's that frequency of energy within you? And how is that affecting what is your focus, what is your feeling, what is coming through you, what is your intuitive mind expressing through it? What is the relationship between what I say in your energy field and how is that interpreted through you? And then blended with and mixed through your understanding of your own intuitiveness to understand it within yourself, to express it uniquely unto yourself. So I know I'm going a little bit in there. And I was asked that simple question, what is energy? But what is energy is you. We're all energy. So we have all those systems of energy, and energy is flowing. Acupuncture has thousands, you see those charts, you know that. And massage therapists, you know that. That there's thousands of meridians throughout the whole body, hundreds of thousands of meridians that are linked to the whole system of nerves in this body, that the sinew of those nerves and the deep into it that branch out into other nerves that affect everything, that if you pulse one area but it pulses into another area. So you stick that needle into the big toe and your lungs can open. But what is that relationship? 30,000 nerve endings on our feet alone. So relax into that. Relax into all the process of that within yourself. Because we can fight that energy and then let it overtake us. And that affects the mental energy. What is depression? Depression is when the mental frequency of the self is overwhelmed by the flow of energy which is coming into the systems. That can't be assimilated and therefore affects the weakness of the frontal lobe, which moves into a negativity about one's own self that creates a deflation. And the deflation that occurs within yourself is what we call depression. Because it's a deflating process that deflates the conscious awareness of your projection through your energy into the vastness of the universe, that through the deflation becomes so narrow and limited that you can't see your light and your beauty. That deflation or depression, you call it, comes when we fail to see the light and the beauty within yourself. So I teach that meditation, I am beautiful, I am light, I am beautiful, I am light. The beauty and the light that you see, which is based on that flow of energy, will take you out of any deflation or depression. That is the key to releasing the deflation, is to relate to your beauty and your light. And let the energy flow through you, breathe into it. So as soon as you're faced with that, whatever that is that takes you out of that balance, immediately begin to breathe. Breathe from the navel point. Connect it to your navel point. Relax your shoulders. Breathe long and deep. Create that 1 minute breath, 20 seconds in, 20 minutes to hold, 20 seconds in, 20 seconds to hold, and 20 seconds to release. Begin immediately a 1 minute breath. And as you do that 1 minute breath, everything, nervous system, everything starts to calm down. And then apply your intuitive consciousness, meditate, vibrate that mantra, whatever that is for you, that you enjoy, that you connect to, and watch what happens. And teach that to people that you know that are going through that difficulty. Teach it to your young people, our children. Show them, teach them this technology. Because this is the technology of tomorrow. that we're teaching today to help us get through that which we have to face. And face it with faith. We try to save face, that we try to do, but do we bring our faith into it? Saving face we want to save, but how do we save that faith? Bring the faith into it, and have faith and trust. Big issues, faith and trust. But it eventually will come down to you within yourself. The faith and the trust starts with you. It's not a projection outside of us. Well, I'll have faith and trust in you when you give me faith and trust. No, you have to find faith and trust in yourself. Every woman wants security. Every man wants support. So man says, I'll give you security when you give me support. And you hear, I'll give you support when you give me security. It doesn't flow. You have to find the security and the support within yourself. That is what sustains the energy. Then that energy can be shared. That support and that security comes from within. We can share with each other and we can give security, we can give support to each other, we can help, is true. We want to do that. We want to know that we can trust and support each other. That is very true. But that comes from within ourselves. Otherwise it breaks down. Find it within yourself. And then you'll know from that awareness, consciousness, and truth of self what you want and what you don't want, what is real, what is unreal, what is reality, and what is fantasy. I mean, I'm explaining because I've gone through it. I still go through it. That what is reality, what is fantasy, what is the energy flowing through that I'm sensing, what is that energy that I'm trying to bring under my control when I can. And when I can't, I came to the point where I had to say, okay, God, Guruji, you take it from me, because otherwise, I don't know, I can't, what am I going to do? And if I look at any time in my life when I've made bad decisions and I've made mistakes that have been detrimental, or we sabotage ourselves, is because that energy flow is not under my command. And that's what I looked and studied, was why did that happen? Because this, it wasn't, somebody else made me do this, somebody made me do that. I'm a victim of my own energies. I'm a victim of my consciousness. No, I'm not a victim of anything. I want to be a victor of everything. But for that, then I have to look and assess what is my reality and what is my fantasy, and where is that energy flowing through me, and how do I help myself to become more aware within me, to forgive myself, to understand that flow of energy, and find within me that place of peace and calmness. So this vast multiple energy system, what is the vast multiple energy system? Is called you, is called human being, the radiant being, the mind of the radiant soul, is what becomes in this body system. And what we want to do, and where we're going in this Aquarian age, is to have a relationship of that within ourselves. That I want that relationship of my understanding, of my own energy flow, to become that which I proceed and project into life. And it took me many years to come to these understandings. It came to many ups and downs and many mistakes and many successes to be able to come to this place of self-understanding that says, let that energy flow through me. And I was very public. How many years have I been in the public? So many from all over the world, energies that coming at 24 hours a day, constantly, to this day. But I say, you know what? What is the big deal? is all in the hands of God, is all in the hands of Guru, is all in the hands of the infinite. And I'm just here to understand it within myself and find the balance within myself so that all those energies that flow through become creative flows of consciousness and knowledge. As I was saying, through that you have to apply the intuitive consciousness to go deep into it, to see the flow of your own consciousness and all the knowledge existing in the flow of the etherical realm that we all tap into in our consciousness. That every human being has that capacity. And when it's used in a productive way, it leads to peace. When it's used in a destructive way, it's used for separation. So one can be very tuned into all of that, but because there's an imbalance in the flow within the frontal lobe of how it's translated, it becomes then something which is destructive. And that flow becomes very strong in a destructive way. Or we understand it within ourselves, take that responsibility within, and use it for constructive growth. And all this energy is with you. And when you can bring that energy through you, understand it through you, then life becomes a flow. As I've said many times, you've heard me, there's the flow of the self, and there's the flow of the universe. That flow that we talk about is the energy system within us. The flow is the flow of that energy which is with us, and the flow of the universe is universal energy. And when there's united energy, yoga means that which unites the energy. One who practices that becomes that yogi, becomes that person who lives a united energy. And the body, mind, and spirit is the trinity of the united energy. And all yoga is a practice of united energy. And the united energy gives us the experience, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So let us understand that within ourselves and come to self-realization about the power that we have within us. And use that power within you of all that combination of the multiple facet of energy to help to spread a message of peace, tolerance, acceptance, that human rights of all people should be protected, and that we should help our future generations understand the flow within themselves, to understand the flow within the world, and to help usher in an age of peace. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.